So what book of the Bible have we been reading for the past few weeks? Right, it's been Genesis. And now we're going to read a few more verses in Genesis. It's Genesis chapter 24, verses 12 through 5. Then he prayed, O Lord, God of my master Abraham, give me success today, and show kindness to my master Abraham. See, I am standing beside this spring, and the daughters of the townspeople are coming out to draw water. May it be that when I say to a girl, Please let down your jar, that I may have a drink, she says, Drink, and I'll water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen for your servant Isaac. By this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. Okay, so let's read our story to find out what that's talking about. God kept his special promises to Abraham and Sarah. Sarah had a baby boy, and Abraham named his son Isaac. Isaac grew up, and one day Abraham called his servant. Abraham asked the man to travel back to the land Abraham was from and find a wife for Abraham's son, Isaac. So who did Abraham ask to go to his land and find a wife for Isaac? Yeah, he asked his servant to go. The servant took 10 camels and many goods. When he arrived, he made the camels kneel beside a wall. It was a time of day when women would come to the well for water. The servant prayed to God, Please help me today. Let the girl who I'm say, Please lower your water jug so I can have a drink. And who responds, Drink, I'll water your camels too. Let her be the one you have chosen to marry Isaac. Before he finished his prayer, a woman named Rebekah appeared. She was very beautiful. She filled her jug with water. The servant went to her and said, Please let me have a little water from your jug. Rebekah answered, Drink. When she finished giving him water, she said, I'll give water to your camels. So what was the lady's name that the servant had found? Yeah, Rebekah. And did she do what the servant prayed to God for her to do? Yes, she did. She offered the servant some water and some water for the camels. She gave water for the servant's camels until they were finished drinking. The servant watched her to see whether or not she was the woman God had picked for Isaac. When the camels finished drinking, the servant asked Rebekah about her family. He wanted to stay with them. Rebekah agreed. The man bowed down and worshipped the Lord for providing Abraham's son Isaac. Rebekah led him to meet her family. Soon, Rebekah's family agreed that God had chosen her for Isaac. Rebekah traveled with the servant back to Abraham's home. When she arrived, she and Isaac were married. Isaac loved her. So Rebekah was the one that God had picked out for Isaac. Now we're going to read Genesis 24, 26 through 27 out of the Bible. Then the man bowed down and worshipped to the Lord, saying, Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master of Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and faithfulness to my master. As for me, the Lord has led me on this journey to the house of my master's relatives. What did the servant do after he met Rebekah at the well? Right, he went to meet her family to see if she was the one that God had picked out for Isaac. Then her family agreed that she was, so then they went back and she married Isaac. Rebekah's family agreed that she should go back to Canaan and marry Isaac. The servant also gave Rebekah a gold ring and bracelets to let her family know that Abraham intended to bless their family. Here are a few wedding customs that was tradition for people who lived back then to do when they were getting married to somebody. You can pause your screen and look at these so you can go through all of these and read them for yourself. So we've had the same memory verse for a few weeks now, and can anyone remember where we find this memory verse at? Yeah, it comes from Isaiah 40:28 to be exact. And it says, Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the whole earth. He never becomes faint or weary. There is no limit to his understandings. So what does this verse tell us about God's understanding? Right, it tells us that there is no limit to God's understanding. So God knows everything. We cannot begin to understand all of the things God knows and understands. He is so wise and knows everything. When I think about that, it reminds me that I can trust God. He understands what is happening all the time, even when I do not. Last week we talked about how Isaiah said that God never becomes weary. So today we are going to be making a sunflower, and on the petals it says, follow God's rules, trust in God, love God above all, and be kind to others. And this kind of goes along with our story because we have to really follow God's rules, trust in God, and all those other things, because that is what Abraham and Abraham's servant did in the story. They followed God's rules and they trusted him that he would provide for them. So first you are going to need a blank piece of construction paper. It can be white or blue or whatever color that you want it to be, but I chose white for this. Next you're going to take another piece of construction paper. Again, it can be white, and color it green, or if you already have a green piece of construction paper, go ahead and cut out a piece that looks a little something like this so that this can be your stem of our sunflower. So when you have that cut out, what I did next was I taped it to my white piece of construction paper, and I also drew some leaves and some grass to go along with it. So what I did next was I took that same piece of white construction paper, I cut out a circle, and then I colored it brown. But again, if you have a brown piece of paper, you can always just cut out a circle. What I did next was I simply just put it on top of my stem so that it looks like this. So next what I did was I cut out little flower petals of that same piece of construction paper and I colored them yellow, and then I wrote my little sayings on them. On this one I wrote, be kind to others, love God above all, trust in God, and follow God's rules. And then all I did was just place them around this circle right here. Now that I have them placed around the circle, what I did next was I took a sticky note and I wrote grow with God on it, because it is a sunflower and the sunflower grows just like we grow, but we're growing with God. And all I did was just place it on there. But you can always just write it on there, just whatever you wanted to do. Well, that was our story, and now this is our craft, so thank you so much for watching and have a great Sunday.